Hi, welcome back to Muthu Dev Hub channel. In the previous videos, we discussed about how to create a C# code in the backend logic and how to define the properties, how to add controls using drag and drop, copy and paste. And also we went through how to debug the application and also explain the code step by step. In this video, we all accumulate all the discussions and keep it as a common exam questions. This will be very helpful for beginners, especially for students and who are preparing for interviews relevant to basic questions in Windows Forms. Let's start now. First, you need to understand what is Windows Forms. Windows Forms is a graphical user interface framework for creating desktop applications using C# language. In our example, we built a simple application using Windows application, which is GUI format. Next question. Can we edit form1.designer.cs file manually? The answer is no, you should not modify the file manually. Now we will switch back to form1.designer.cs. I stop the application, go to Solution Explorer, form1.designer. In the beginning of the video, I told you this is the auto-generated file. Now you can see whatever you added the controls through the toolbox, all the controls properties and control name automatically appear here. We didn't write any code, but Visual Studio helping us to write the code. As a result, we are seeing these controls properly. See, Visual Studio is helping us to write the code. So whatever Visual Studio is writing the code for the control, everything all will be appearing here, which is the auto-generated code. So if you are a developer, you don't bother about this. But sometimes when you are troubleshooting any control issues or any abnormal issues, at that time you need to come and look at this. But generally you don't bother about this. Third question, where do we write logic? Answer is in Form1 CS. Okay, we will switch back to our coding. Again, go back to Solution Explorer, Form1 CS. This is the design, but we are writing actual backend logic here, form1.cs. So this is the actual C# developer role. If you are a C# developer role, then this is the main role you need to work on it. What you are doing in the front end, this is not that much complicated one because it's simply drag and drop and you need to define the properties. Just right click and you have to define the properties. This is very straightforward one, but the more complex logics behind the code, which is form1.cs. And please remember, form1 is not the constant one. You can rename form1 also. You can make it as a meaningful name. But for this demo, I didn't rename it. But of course, when you are working on a real project, please rename the proper naming convention. Okay, now we jump back to another question. What happens when we drag a control? Visual Studio updates form1.designer.cs automatically. Just now we discussed about this. Again, I switch back to Solution. Go to Solution Explorer. This is the designer. If you drag and drop any new controller, for instance, I am drag and drop a combo box for testing purpose. This is the combo box. Now you go to designer, you can search, see here, combo box added. So Visual Studio is helping to write a code on behalf of us. Very nice feature, right? Okay, switch back to the question. So Visual Studio updates form1.designer.cs automatically. What is Toolbox? It contains controls like text box, button, label, and data grid view, so and so. Again, we switch back to our solution. go to Toolbox, you can see there are plenty of controls available. You can build a very rich applications. Earlier, I have built a very strong point of sale applications using these controls alone. So you can also build a very rich standalone applications using the controls. Great. Now we switch back to next question. What is properties window? This is very, very important to know. It used to modify controls appearance and behavior. What is that? Switch back to code. This is the properties. Whichever control you selected, relevant properties automatically appear here. If you select label, again label properties appear here. If you select another time, again label property appears here. So it used to modify control appearance and behavior. Next, what is event? An action that occurs when a user clicks a button or enters data. What is that? In our example, when I click on the calculate interest button, automatically comes to the backend logic. This is the event handler. This is the event. So when I click on the calculate interest on the front end, automatically comes to the backend logic and triggers the necessary business logic. So this is the event handler. Great. We successfully built a simple interest calculator using Windows Forms in CSharp language. In this tutorial, we learned how to create a Windows Forms in Visual Studio, add controls like text boxes, labels, buttons, and data grid view, set control properties, and give them proper names. Write CSharp code to calculate simple interest. Display the results on the form and in a grid view. Debug the application, how to check for errors. Now you can see how drag and drop UI properties and code work together to make a functional desktop application. Keep practicing by adding more features like clearing fields, handling invalid input, or calculating compound interest. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Muthu Dev Hub for more beginner-friendly C# tutorials. Cheers! Goodbye!